In the wild week-to-week league that is the NFL, we posed the following question after week 3. Could the Texans compete for a division title, and what is the current layout? There's a lot of drama, lots to get into in this week's post-week recap in the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not 2.
Welcome to the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Lots to get into here. A little bit different vibe than last week. Last week, the Texans were coming off a disgraceful performance against the Indianapolis Colts. It was one of those things that I did not think could be dismissed simply by injuries. And we saw a lot of those injuries similar this week against Jacksonville, but what we saw on the field was completely different. There were a number of reasons why. If you missed the post-game show, if you missed the Moments videos, please go back and check those out. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along as well if you want the pulse of what's going on with the Texans and the Houston sports scene. 3 weeks into the NFL season, we have 3 3-0 teams. None of those teams are in the AFC South. We have 14 2-1 teams. Only one of those are in the AFC South. That's the Indianapolis Colts. Could there be some drama in Indianapolis? We'll get to that in a minute. We have 12 1-2 teams. Texans are one of those teams, and we have 3 0-3 squads. Arizona and the Texans, not one of those squads. Shout out to Sean Payton. I know some of y'all maybe wanted Sean Payton to be the Texans coach. I'm, for one, very pleased that didn't happen. Let's start in the AFC South, because this whole thing is about the localized outlook of where the Texans sit in their division and around the league. And right now, Indy is the only 2-win team in the AFC South. They went on the road. They won in Baltimore. Baltimore getting beat up. But Indianapolis, man, they got kind of lucky. Got away with the pass interference and overtime. Zay Flowers was basically tackled. Justin Tucker missed the field goal, the 61-yarder at the end of regulation. And the Colts end up winning it with a 51-yard walk-off of their own. So Indianapolis right now is the only 2-win team in the AFC South. I'll just ask you, and we'll go team by team here. Do you think that the Indianapolis Colts are going to run away with the division? I mean, I think we already know the answer to that question. Indianapolis is not going to run away with the AFC South. So they're right now, they're the only 2-win team. I also wonder if we're going to stay with the Indianapolis Colts. Will there be a QB controversy in Indianapolis? And I mean, that might sound crazy, but I mean, you are talking about a guy in Gardner Minshew who won you a game against the Texans. He came in and he led the offense, won you a game against the Texans, and he just went to Baltimore and won you a ball game. Anthony Richardson just come back and take that gig? Or do they have to at least think about it? The other thing is, what is going to happen if Anthony Richardson does come back? Is he going to be able to stay on the field? He's walked off the field. He's already walked off the field twice. 3 times, actually. Twice in week 1 when he ended up coming back. And then another time when he had the concussion against the Texans. So back and forth, is that where they're going to go with the quarterback situation? Is it just going to be like a back and forth type of thing? Or are they going to stay with Gardner Minshew? I mean, it's not like we're talking about, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady getting hurt or Joe Burrow getting hurt and the backup holding it down. I mean, Gardner Minshew, you can make a case, might be better than Anthony Richardson right now. Anthony's looked okay. Hadn't been able to stay on the field. The durability concerns are kind of coming up. Will there be a QB controversy in Indianapolis? I don't know whether there will be or whether there won't, but the one thing I do feel safe in saying, and it's very hard to say things in this week-to-week league known as the NFL, Indianapolis ain't running away with this division. And that's the main question that I'm asking in this edition. Can the Texans compete in the AFC South? Let's go to Jacksonville. So the Texans just faced the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think that it's safe to say that the skepticism about Jacksonville being a top-tier team, I think it's valid. I've said this on the post game. I've said this leading up to the season. Jacksonville was not going to win the AFC South last year if Ryan Tannehill didn't get hurt. Could Jacksonville end up being good? Could the arrow be pointing up? Could Jacksonville end up winning the AFC South? Sure. But Jacksonville is not if you just go by Las Vegas odds, they had Jacksonville favored by 3 games to win the division. You know how hard it is to win a division by 3 games? They needed the last game of the season last year against a Tennessee Titans team that was limping. So I don't think Jacksonville is going to run away with any division in the AFC South. I don't think that's going to happen. They're damn sure not a team that's worthy of being a double-digit favorite at home, no matter how bad a team is. So I don't think Jacksonville is a team that's going to run away with the AFC South. And we just saw the Texans shorthanded. Basically, I don't think it was like I know it was a 20-point game, but it could have gone either way. Jacksonville's a little bit sloppy. Not to take anything away from it. I say all that to say I'm not going to sit here and say the Texans are unequivocally better than Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is still an okay team. I just don't think they're great, and I don't think they're going to run away with the division. I also think they might be in trouble. And this is something that I don't think is getting enough attention when it comes to Jacksonville and where they currently are right now. This is something that I think deserves a lot more attention, and I think we need to watch this closely because I know it's early in the season, but it can get away from you early. Jacksonville's in a really interesting spot right now because Jacksonville is about to head to London for 2 weeks, which I don't think is ideal for an NFL team. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I've never played NFL football. I know a lot of NFL players. I've talked to a lot of NFL players, and the one thing that I think it's obvious, but they all say is the week-to-week wear and tear takes a lot out of you. And there are times where just being in your own bed, sleeping in your own bed, going to your own routine, wherever you get your therapy and stuff, it's a good feeling. Even if you're going on the road later on in the week, Monday through Friday, you're going through your routine at home. Jack's going to be in London for 2 weeks. I don't know about y'all, but 2-week vacations, they just don't, even like 4 days in, you get to a point where you're just like, man, I'm a little bit worn out. Jacksonville is going to be in London. They're going to face the Falcons and the Bills. Those are 2 pretty damn good football teams. Arthur Smith, he's found something in Atlanta. I know they're coming off the loss. They lost to the Lions, but that's a 2-1 team. They know how to run the rock. So that's not an easy game. Buffalo, say what you want about Buffalo. Are they elite? Blah, blah, blah. I think Jacksonville is trying to get where Buffalo is right now. So they're going to be in London for 2 weeks, Jacksonville. Not going to have their left tackle for another game. He's going to come on the field. Its first game is going to be in London against the Buffalo Bills. Just seems like Jacksonville's kind of in trouble in London. Or, I mean, if they can split those games, I think they would be pleased. If they go 2-0, they should throw a party. They should probably have a parade in Jacksonville. But this is where it gets crazy for Jacksonville. And I bet a lot of you didn't even know this, because I really didn't know this when I before I looked at the schedule. After Jacksonville heads for London for 2 weeks, guess what they do? I mean, you would naturally think, okay, they're going to get a bye after they go to London for 2 weeks, right? Like, you're going to get on a plane, you're going to play a game in London, you're going to fly back. I think it's like a 10, 11-hour flight, whatever the hell it is. You're going to come back. Surely Jacksonville is going to have like a week 5 bye, right? Or a week 6 bye. No. Jacksonville is going to go to London for 2 weeks. Then they're going to play the Colts that Sunday, and then they're playing on Thursday night. So the Jags are going to London for 2 weeks. They're coming back. They're playing that Sunday, and then they're going to play on Thursday. Again, I'm not an expert on the body. I know a little bit about NFL routines. That just does not seem ideal, especially with how sloppy they are. 2 weeks in London, a game that next Sunday, and then you're playing Thursday night. Keep an eye on the Jags the next 4 weeks. The next 4 weeks, I don't want to say it's like a danger zone, but that is a hell of a schedule logistically for the Jags. Hell of a schedule logistically for the Jags. So I revisit the question, do you think Jacksonville is going to run away with the division? I think most people would say probably not. That's absolutely crazy. Then we go to the Tennessee Titans. They are an absolute mess on offense. Now, the thing about the Tennessee Titans, and I would love the Texans to take on this characteristic. I think it's a characteristic that Mike Tomlin has with his football team as well, that's coming to town this Sunday. We'll get to that. But the thing about the Tennessee Titans is they're going to fight for Mike Vrabel. And a lot of times when you count them out, they're going to find a way to scratch and claw. That's what Mike Vrabel did his second game. I talked about it when they faced the Texans. No starting left tackle, no starting right tackle, no starting quarterback. They beat the Texans. They beat Deshaun Watson and the Texans. It's kind of the same fight, similar-ish, although the Texans had C.J. Stroud that DeMico's team showed in Jacksonville when they thumped them around. But that's kind of the identity that you want from a scrappy-ass coach, like a DeMico Ryans, Mike Vrabel, Mike Tomlin. But the Titans on offense are a bleep show. Week 1, you had Ryan Tannehill throw 3 interceptions, and then they just had 94 yards of total offense. Now, Cleveland's a really good defense, but 94 yards of total offense for the Tennessee Titans offense. They're not running away with the division. Then you look at the quarterback situations in the division. Right now, you have C.J. Stroud playing at a very high level. Ryan Tannehill appears to be the ghost of his old self, which many people didn't think was good enough to get you where you wanted to go anyways. Anthony Richardson, Gardner Minshew, don't know what's going to happen there. And then Trevor Lawrence, I don't know what to make of this Jacksonville team. I don't know that they have an identity. I don't know that they know what they can do. So I don't expect anyone to run away with this division. So could the Texans compete this year? I think so. I mean, I thought they were going to be around 7 to 9-ish wins. If what we saw this past week is something that they can put out consistently and they can build some momentum. You look at their schedule, look at the teams they're facing. They got the NFC South, which is one of the worst divisions in the league. They got their own division, which could be one of the worst divisions in the league. And then they got the rest of the NFC North. Cincinnati just got to win today. I don't expect them to go to Cincinnati and win, but you never know. So, yeah, I think absolutely the AFC South is wide open. It's an absolute bleep show. What do you say? Put it in the comments. Subscribe, like, ride along, all that good stuff. This is this week's AFC South matchups. You got the Texans hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh really good defense, really suspect offense, kind of some drama with the offensive coordinator. All you hear in Pittsburgh is about how this Canada guy sucks. Deontay Johnson on IR, Hayward on IR. But between Highsmith and Watt coming off the edge, you would hope that Laramie Tunsil's back this week. You also have the Falcons versus the Jags, which we already mentioned. The Bengals going to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Titans already beat the Chargers earlier this year. Titans are a weird team. Like those teams that you don't think they're going to beat, they compete with. And then you got the Rams, who just lost to Cincinnati, going to Indy to take on the Colts. So if the Texans take care of business this week against Pittsburgh, and they open as a 3-point dog, I know it's not, a quarter into the season anymore with the 17th game, but you go 2-2 in that first quarter, and then you start getting guys back healthy, sky's the limit. And stuff starts to even out. And the other good thing the Texans have, we talk about that bad stretch for the Jags. The Texans have rotating home road games all the way up till November 26th. November 26th, they'll have a stretch where they have 3 straight home games. But they got the perfect mix of home, road. Other localized things to look at outside the AFC South. Obviously, the Texans, they don't have their own first-round pick. They have Cleveland's first-round pick. Cleveland gets their second win. Deshaun Watson looks a lot better than he did in week 2. Hard not to. Myles Garrett looks like a creative player, and the Cleveland defense looks elite. So it's going to be kind of a week-to-week thing there. Tennessee really not able to threaten anyone on offense, but the Browns 2-1 with an elite defense and a better Watson, so they win their second game. So if you're rooting against the Browns and looking at that draft pick, not as good as it looked after week 2, and that goes back to that week-to-week league thing that we always talk about. The Texans open as a 3-point dog. I put dog versus the Steelers. This one is, I guess that's about what you would expect. Pittsburgh, though, they have a very hard time on offense. Very hard time on offense. They have decent running back duo in Harris and Warren. Seems like the fans prefer Warren. They got an underrated tight end. Deontay Johnson's out, and they have George Pickens. So I'm assuming that George Pickens will be someone they'll try to get out there. But as far as offense, that it leaves a lot to be imagined. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Biggest things right now for the Texans, and there are 3 things 3 weeks in. Number one, the Texans, have shown that week to week exists in the H. And I think this is important. It's one of the cliches that you hear all the time. And it's really one of those cliches that is true. It's a week to week league. And for example, the Dallas Cowboys can go from being the toast of the league to losing to the Arizona Cardinals from one week to the next. We've heard that for a long time, but if you follow the Texans and you've watched the Texans, you've listened to the Texans, you've listened to dumbasses like me talk about them, it's not really week to week. It's been the same crap every week. And that was what was frustrating about the Indy game. This was the week against Jacksonville where you finally believe that it can be a week-to-week league, and that what 99% of NFL teams actually experience, the Texans might be able to experience. Now, it would be really nice if you could follow that up with your first win at NRG since December 26th of 2021. Yes, it's been that long. But the week-to-week thing exists, and DeMico Ryans showed that he's not dependent on full health, and a solid effort and a solid product can be put on the field, and you can win a game when you're not expected to win a game. So that's number one. Number two, CJ Stroud looks the part. He looks amazing. If they voted on the Pro Bowl right now, CJ Stroud would be in the Pro Bowl. If they handed out Offensive Rookie of the Year, CJ Stroud will win Offensive Rookie of the Year. It's very early. The surroundings around him look a lot better than expected. The wide receivers look better. The offensive line is depleted, but he's still been able to put up numbers. The defense looks like it's kind of coming around a little bit. There's a little bit of potential there, and the surroundings look better. And CJ Stroud looks the part. And look, I don't think you completely decide what a quarterback is after 3 games, not even after 1 season, sometimes not even after 2. If you look at Tua right now, you look at what happens to guys, that have really good years and then kind of fall off. But the way that CJ Stroud's made up right now, the way that he looks, the way that he sounds, he looks great. He looks great. And I know that the big conversation was about, Bryce or CJ, and I was a Bryce guy. But there's nothing in this world I would like more than to be wrong about that. If you think I would rather be right about that, then you're crazy. You don't live the life I live. I got to walk in this city every day. I got to talk to miserable ass Texans fans. I got to cover this squad. I don't take any days off. I've been doing this. I finally got the good to go to start this channel before last season. I've been on here every single day through the whole thing. I've been covering this squad since the Bill O'Brien era all the way through. There's no time off. I get no joy out of this team being bad. I would much rather be wrong about the Bryce Young, CJ Stroud thing than anything. And right now, this is the best way that I can put it. And I think Texans fans can kind of agree with this. I don't know if CJ Stroud's going to end up being better than Bryce Young. I don't know if he's going to end up being better than Anthony Richardson. I do think he's going to 100% be better than Anthony Richardson. But the way that the kid talks, the way that the kid carries himself, the way that his overall makeup is, and the composure that he shows, he's just someone you want to ride with. He's someone you want to roll with. And I think before Deshaun became disgruntled and before things got bad, I think a lot of people felt that way about Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. And look, right now CJ looks way better. So I'm not even like I'm not. He could end up being better and it won't matter. But when Mahomes and Watson were going and it was clear that Mahomes was better, there were some Texans fans that were like, you know what, I'll roll with Deshaun though. I can roll with him because that was when he actually cared about football. It wasn't all about, materialism and money and then all the other stuff. And then that's what CJ Stroud looks like. He looks like a leader. He looks like a guy that's ready to go. He looks like a guy that's only going to get better as the season goes on because he's going to get some help. So that's the best way I can put that. Thought number 3 is you should be getting healthier. Texans should absolutely be getting healthier. Current injuries right now with the Texans. You have Laramie Tunsil. I don't know what's up with Laramie. I don't know how serious it is. I don't know if it's just caution. I don't know. Jalen Petrie going to return to practice. I think Aaron Wilson reported that. Denzel Perriman, he's out. I think he's a 2-down linebacker at this point. I think he's kind of the new Kirksey, maybe a better version of Kirksey. But if you can use the more athletic linebackers and let Perriman do what he does and limit the snaps, I think he's an asset. Derek Stingley probably going to miss some significant time, although it didn't feel like you really missed him on Sunday. I mean, I'm just being honest. I thought the performance by Shaq Griffin, the 10 tackles, the physicality. Now there was some help from Calvin Ridley because I don't know what the hell he was doing. But Steven Nelson and Shaq Griffin, I thought that was as strong of a corner presence as I've seen from this team in years. Those guys were very physical. You knew they were out there, but they were completely battling. You want more corner depth, but I don't know that they missed Stingley that much on Sunday. Juice Scruggs, look, he was expected to be the starting center. I wouldn't be surprised to see him getting some guard reps. Maybe you put him at center, but Patterson seems to be improving. And the numbers and the stat nerds and all that kind of crap says so as well. Jared Patterson out of Notre Dame looks like he's improving. So I don't know what the hell happens with Juice Scruggs when he comes back. But I would just keep an eye on that. The more offensive line depth, the better. Then Titus Howard, he's eligible to come back after week 4. And Cam Johnson, I'll put the punter there because I'm tired of looking at this punter that they have right now. So after the Pittsburgh game, you're going to have Howard eligible to come back, Cam Johnson and Juice Scruggs eligible to come back. So you're getting healthier. Let's hear from DeMico Ryans. DeMico Ryans just got his first win. Let's hear what DeMico Ryans had to say on Monday, earlier today, following the first win of his career and heading into Pittsburgh week / JJ Watt week.
One day later, you saw the tape. What were some things that you liked? What were some things that could be better?
Yeah, overall, watching the tape, it's really proud of our guys and with the effort that they play with, the mindset, the physical mindset that our team played with. Went down to Jacksonville versus a very tough team, right? Tough opponent, and the way our guys stepped up and played, I'm very proud of that effort and that mindset. So that's the winning. That's winning football. That's what we played on Sunday, and that's what I want to see moving forward.
Coach, you had a little time to sort of marinate this. I'm just sort of curious what you thought your grandmother might have said after that first victory, that voice she might have said to you.
Oh, yeah, that's that was special, a special first win. And I know in that moment, a lot of people are proud. A lot of people shown a lot of support for me, and in that moment, I know she would have been very proud of that as well, and just say congratulations and keep it going. You know what it tastes like now to get a win, go get you some more.
Talk about what it means for the team. It's just one game, it's a long season, but for them to finally get that first win and to get a taste of it and to be able to build from there.
Right, it's very important to get the first win so you know what it feels like. You know how it looks to win, and you can go back through, see what you did throughout the week, how you prepared throughout the week, how you practiced, right, how you studied. And that's if you play winning football throughout the week, right, in your preparation, and you can play winning football on Sunday. So that's what I want our guys to see, like the blueprint of what it takes to win. It's hard to win in this league. It's tough each and every week, no matter who you play against. It's tough to win, but if you put the work in like our guys did, then you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. You have to put the work in. You can't shortchange the process.
DeMico, during your time as a coach, I know you don't bring it up when you saw mistakes and you clean up, but have you been around a game like that where offense, defense, special teams were as clean as they were yesterday?
It was a good team effort, complimentary football all across the board, and we did a lot of things really well, but there was also, as we watched the tape today, there's a lot of things to clean up. So we're not resting on what we did in that game. It was good, but we also know there's some things on the tape that we can't play that way each week and expect to win. So we still have a lot of things details-wise to clean up, and that's what we're working on today.
Coach, you talked about guys stepping up, but what have you seen or what did you see from Shaq Griffin and Braylon Arnold on that both of those guys stepped up and helped the second?
Yeah, with Shaq and Graylin, both guys stepped in their first week. Seeing extensive playing time for us. All guys did well with their responsibilities and what they were asked to do, and they played well.
Coach, go ahead, John. Sorry. Totally understand you want to test the storylines. One of the storylines was about you all's wide receiver group. So I'm curious, since you knew best what you had. What gave you confidence in your wide receiver group that they could have the success that they're having like right now? In the early process, what gave you that confidence?
From their wide receiver group, I saw a group who was dialed in from our first day of OTAs. So it's not surprising to me, what those guys were doing, their effort, their intent, and how they were blocking in OTAs, how they were making plays down the field in OTAs. Like, that showed me the confidence in who those guys were, and they've been consistent. And that's the one thing you have to do in this league, you want to be successful, you have to be consistent, and that's what I've seen from that group. And it all starts with the leader of that group, Robert Woods, and what he brings every day and what he's taught the young guys in that group. And they're mimicking his style and just being consistent, being reliable, and it shows up on Sundays.
Can you talk about the communication? Last week, that was one of the challenges. Then to have people out and have other guys in charge of making some of those calls. How that went and what that says about it.
Right, the communication went really well. I think it starts with the Mike linebacker, and Henry did a really good job. Put a lot on his plate. As a young player, he communicated well, got the guys lined up, but also having Jimmy Ward back, patrolling, all right, this at the safety position, that was really big for us. So Jimmy and Henry and they're communicating together. It was really well. It was good to see those guys work well together and to see them make the plays that they made.
A week after Stroud had a lot of pressure, offensive line, no sacks in this game. What worked with that unit after your review and the players coming together when it dealt with a lot of issues?
Yeah, with the protection, it was, again, this group effort from up front, all five offensive line, but it's also the tight ends, the backs, it's the quarterback. Everybody helps out in protection. So it's not just the offensive line. The offensive line did a really great job, but thought our backs stepped up. They protected well. CJ did a very good job of delivering the ball on time, getting it out quick, speeding up his process when he needed to speed it up versus pressure. So it was a team effort when it came to the protection. But credit to the O-line. They did a really nice job.
Did Josh Jones make strides? If you're looking, is that improvement from their left tackle spot?
And just overall, all offensive linemen just playing together. That's what we look for, and that's what all those guys did.
We've always been really proud of your part in the Texans Legends community with all those guys being back for Sunday's game. What does that mean to you and the team, and also just being JJ Watt's ring?
All right, it'll be a special week here at Texas with JJ going into the Ring of Honor, a guy who's very deserving. Right, you can't think of another player. Him and Andre Johnson are, two of the greatest Texans to suit up for us, and so it's important for us to honor those guys, legends who did a lot for the organization, play a lot of winning football here, and for us, we want to mimic what those guys have stood for. They've been leaders in the community. They've been, of course, great talent on the field, but just who those two guys are as men, JJ and Andre, to see their names up in the rafters of our stadium, it means a lot. So with the legends coming back this weekend, it's be big for us. We want to make sure that we put out a good outing for our legends so they can show what the 2023 Houston Texans football team looks like. And we want to do it the right way, continue to play with a winning mindset, a winning style, physical brand of football. And we want those guys to be proud of what we do.
Coach, go ahead, Coach. I don't mean to sort of simplify your messaging or your mood from last week, but you felt very confident that it was an execution thing with the defense, just getting right. Is it easy to point to guys and show them what success looks like when you do get to that level of execution that you hope for from the defense?
Yeah, it's easy when guys do their job, right? We have a chance. Well, as I told the guys last week, for the first 2 weeks, it was a lot of the Texans holding the Texans back, right? If we help ourselves just by doing what we're supposed to do, and there's still, a lot of things that we got to clean up. Hey, it's not there right now. We still got a lot of things to clean up, but we're heading in the right direction. We took a step as to what I want our team to look like and what I believe, winning football looks like. We took a step in the right direction this week.
Coach, a couple more guys. Coach, I know you talked about Will Anderson and Lynch since the day that you all drafted him. But when you watch a player who was a number 3 overall pick, who plays like he's trying to still make a roster, and what he did yesterday on special teams, what does it mean to just see him lead by example like that?
What Will does on the field is why we drafted him, right? He's a consistent player. He plays with an edge, a relentless mindset every single day, whether it's practice, whether it's a game, and that's why it's important to add him, to what we're trying to build here. And he represents everything that I believe in and how you play football. He plays the game the right way. He plays it with an edge, with intensity, and it means a lot to him. That's why he's one of our leaders, because he proves it just by how he works every single day. And for us to take the next step, right, as an organization, as a football team. I want 53 guys who play like Will Anderson.
Coach, I think J.J. Watt famously said he bought a house in the same neighborhood as you. What did you think of that, and like, what was your first impression of him when you met him, if you still remember this?
Yeah, he's always been just a humble guy, right? Hardworking, humble guy. Yeah, we were neighbors there for a little while. He's and just a great human being, right? A great teammate. I remember driving to team dinners with him, doing a little carpool. But JJ's just always been, a friend of mine, a guy I truly respect. And I know he respected me for me when JJ came in as a rookie, me being a captain on his team, and him wanting to move into the same neighborhood and all. It means a lot that a guy looks up to you and respects you, and it's still that mutual respect for JJ. I mean, can't think of another guy who's has such a great career, done so much, in the league, that he's respected by everybody in the league just by his style of play and the man that he is. And you can't say enough good things about JJ.
How many of your injured guys do you expect to come back this week? Tunsil, Petrie, others?
And we'll see where our guys are on Wednesday.
And you mentioned, the legends coming in and emulating that. How do you see players? What tips you often you see? Like, okay, they are taking on the ownership of this team. You mentioned like Will and others, but where do you see?
It's when guys are just sitting in the locker room or sitting on the plane, and guys are talking football. Guys are helping each other, offense, defense. Guys are studying the film, iron sharpening iron, showing, hey man, where we can be better, right? And that's what it looks like, right? When your team starts to develop that type
Iron
of mindset,
sharpen
where
iron.
they truly care about each other. They're invested in seeing their teammates do well. It's not, as I told guys, right, it's not offense, defense. That's not like, it's the Texans. And we truly care about each other. When you see one guy make a play, our entire sideline is going, crazy, because we're excited about whoever makes a play because we're truly invested into playing team football.
Last week, we're going to show on Sarge Chance. Coach Blake Cashman played more snaps yesterday than he had since his rookie season. Can you describe what you saw from him this training camp in the early stages?
Talking that cash-ish.
Best at the linebacker position in your defense.
Blake stepped in for us. He played physical. He played fast. He did a really good job in coverage. But most importantly, Blake did a great job of attacking the football, and that's what we want. That changes games. So Blake was able to recover a fumble there after the hit from E. Murray, and also with an excellent interception, big-time catch by him, just an instinctive play, heads-up play, great awareness, great feel for route concepts. So it was credit to Blake and what he did. It was big-time plays by him.
When you look at guys like CJ, Tank, Henry, the list goes on, what does it say about them as a rookie class being able to come in right away and have success? And two, what does it say about the front office that they were able to find guys who can help right away and help this team?
Yeah, it's for our young guys who stepped up and played. We had a lot of rookies playing for us. And for me, the guys who are out there, it's just about, I don't care, rookie, veteran, guys who are going to play the game with the right way, play with intensity, play with a relentless mindset, guys who are going to swarm. That's who I want on the field. I don't care where you were drafted, how we acquired you. It's like, are you playing football the right way? At Texans, that brand of football. If you play that, then you'll play for us.
Last one, sir. What were your emotions like when the McNairs gave the game ball yesterday?
Yeah, it was humbling, man, to receive the game ball after the first win. And it's humbling. I'm thankful for the McNairs and them entrusting me with the opportunity to lead this team, lead this organization. And it was just a start for us of how we wanted to look, right? We want to develop a winning culture here, and that was the start of it. So it was a very special moment for me, one I always remember, and very thankful for them.
Thank you,
All right, thank you guys. All right.
All right, there we go. It's DeMico Ryans. Seemed pretty happy. Texans got the dub. Jalen Petrie, by the way, going to return to practice. I know there's people talking about Carlton says he looks for some turnovers this week. Jimmy Ward, I think, was a big return. He seems to be directing traffic, physical, and you had Jalen Petrie back there as well. It pushes guys up. So now you have Graylin Arnold as kind of a depth guy, et cetera. I thought Shaq Griffin played good. I don't expect a lot from the backup corner. I thought he was physical. I thought the game kind of shaped up to where they were throwing a little bit more and they were going in his direction. I think I have the stat per PFF. Shaq was targeted 10 times. He allowed 7 catches for 81. He was out there battling. I don't know what's up with his shoulder. I'm intrigued to see what the practice report looks like, but 7 receptions for 81 yards, targeted 10 times, 10 tackles, coming in, filling the hole. I thought Shaq Griffin was good. I don't know what people expect from Shaq Griffin. J-Rob, I think J-Rob might be the defensive coordinator for – I don't even know, maybe the best team in the world. What game are you watching, bro? Griffin was giving up the most passing yards. Stingley would have been better. He maybe would have been. But I didn't think he was like overly missed. Like I didn't watch that game and say, damn, you need Derek Stingley out there. I thought that Shaq Griffin held his own for a backup corner. I thought he did well. J-Rob, can we address the real issue? I'm going to get to J-Rob. Seems like he's a pretty big football expert. Appreciate you for coming through, sir, or ma'am, whatever you are. Can we address the real issue? Like, why can't we stop the run on our defense? Their offense is not going to struggle versus our defense. Our defense is horrible. Nothing has changed. Why can't you see that? Well, for one, it was a historically bad defense last year. It was like historically bad against the run. It was actually dead last. Right now, last I checked, I think they're 16th. I didn't see the Monday night games, but I think they're 16th against the run. They're giving up 116 or something. Not sure. They went against Baltimore. They went against the Colts. And then they went against the Jags here. And the Jags said before they're going to try to run it for 200. So if you think this is the same defense this year as last, I don't know what to tell you. I think it's a little bit better. Do I think they struggled a little bit against Indy? Yeah. Baltimore, they kind of held up until the end of the game. But if you think this is nothing has changed on defense, all right. I would disagree strongly, and so would the actual numbers. But maybe you're watching something different than I am. Middle of the league, 16th is a hell of a lot better than historically bad like they were last year. So if you think this is the same defense, more power to you. I watched every play of these games. Maybe you got better eyes than me. The numbers don't back up what you're saying it's the exact same. So, all right, different strokes for different folks on that. I would strongly disagree with you on that this is the same type of defense that we became used to. Jargon 2, credit Slowick for moving to quick passes and screens and set up the run. I'll credit him for whatever you want to credit Bobby for after that game. Go ahead and do it. I actually credit him for going in the trenches and fighting with the run game and then taking deep shots. And I credit him for having the aggressiveness at the end of the first half. I think there's plenty of credit to go around for Slowick. That was a hell of a game for him. DJM, do you think the Houston Texans can make the playoffs if they keep playing like this? Yeah, if they keep playing like this, I mean, it's what gets you in the playoffs? 9 wins? Maybe so. OO says, Landry, why your boy Landry is too much negative about things. No idea what you're talking about. No idea what that means. No idea where that would come from. Maybe you mean Lopez. I don't know. No clue. Update on Howard. He won't be able to come back till after Pittsburgh. So he has a broken hand. He was going to try to come back. The time frame was originally 4 to 6. I think after the Pittsburgh game, it'll be like 9-ish or something. I don't remember. It's 4 to 6 or 6 to 8, whatever it is. It's 3 weeks more than the original time frame. I think everybody owes Brevin Jordan an apology. Brevin himself said yesterday, he said that, he didn't know his goal was just to make the team. And he ended up getting hurt in training camp, and he ended up making the squad. I don't think it's irrational to have thought that Brevin Jordan might not make the squad, especially once he got hurt. But the organization showed faith in him, and right now he seems like a weapon. I'm not as down on Schultz as some people are. Look, I think once the tackles come back, that'll help Schultz. You can have multiple tight ends. I think that I'm not pumped about what Schultz has been, but I'm not completely down on it. But man, it almost seems like he's taking the place of Rex Burkhead. I think that he's become like the guy that everybody immediately gets pissed off about, which is fine. I guess you got to get mad at someone. I think we're kind of used to that type of thing. So we'll see how it goes. I kind of want to hear what Blake Cashman had to say. Blake Cashman got a little podium love today. Let's hear what Blake Cashman.
I would say trying to make up for lost time, but by missing time, for any player, it hurts not to be out there.
Didn't even know what Blake Cashman looked like.
Definitely, felt that urge to make an impact and let the opponent and my teammates feel me and know that I'm out there and taking care of my job. But it was a great feeling, and even better to come back with a win. Yeah, so we actually worked those concepts a lot throughout the week. So, hats off to our coaches for understanding and knowing what Jacksonville was going to throw at us. But it was a fire zone pressure, and my key was a running back. And depending on which side he released to, is which way I was going to open up, and that took my eyes to the number 2 receiver, which was Agnew in the slot, and the running back kind of chipped release, checked through the line of scrimmage. So my eyes went to Agnew, and I seen kind of outside stemmed, and I was trying to bracket him with Graylin Arnold, and then I actually should have played that better and kept my eyes on Agnew, but I knew with the pressure the ball had to come out soon, so I kind of kept 2 peeks back at the quarterback, and I seen Agnew break in on a dig, so I just planted off my right foot and was able to make a good play on the ball. And I think it was Jonathan Grenard got in there and create some pressure to force that throw. So everyone just doing their job and allowing me to make that opportunity and get that pick.
That being said, do you feel like everything that you had worked on in training camp carried over into yesterday's game? I remember there was a time where I think you had consecutive interceptions in training camp practices, and Christian Harris came to the podium and said, I don't know why they keep doing it. So do you feel like everything that you worked on carried over to yesterday's game?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways it did, and it's always awesome to see as a player your work paying off. But I went into that game, and I have my set of assignments and my details within those assignments, and I just play within the scheme, and I was praying that the ball was going to come my way so I could make an opportunity and do anything I can to change swing of the game. So it was great to see that work pay off, and hopefully it can continue.
I think as a defense, do you feel like you guys set a tone of, we were talking with Jimmy about that, where you keep hitting.
Hold on just a second. Hold on, man. He reminded you of Dylan Cole. What kind of insult is that? Don't insult Blake Cashman like that. He reminded you of Dylan Cole. Come on, man.
Toll on the other team, not just with turnovers, but maybe their willingness to engage with the defense.
Absolutely. Being a violent physical defense, the more hats to the ball carrier, and making them pay. Like as the game goes on, it's gonna wear on anybody, and that violence, that speed we got to play with our defenses is going to be important for us to win games. And we talk about it every week, and we practice it every week. So it's got to show up on game day.
All right, there we go. That's Blake Cashman, Low Cashman podium. Good to see him up there. I really liked watching him in camp. The Dylan Cole comparisons, y'all got to stop. I like Dylan. I do remember that pick six. That was against Tennessee. Remember that Tennessee assing where they put half a hundo on him? I think Will Fuller returned. That was when you kind of felt like the Texans were turning the corner with Deshaun. I think that was kind of like the peak. Ended up tearing the ACL a little bit later. But yeah, I remember that. I like Cole all right. I didn't hate Cole. I think Cashman's a better cover linebacker, though. And he's definitely a little bit more physical, doesn't get thrown around as much. But yeah, that was a total assing against the Tennessee Titans. Appreciate everyone for coming through. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I am told, and you know, we always have interviews on Thursdays with players. They joined the radio show, the Odyssey app, and Sports Radio 6. And I'm told they got a surprise for us. Last week it was Robert Woods. Week before, I mean, we've had everyone from Will Anderson to Jimmy Ward, like pretty much everyone there. I'm told they got a big surprise for us. I don't know what the hell that means. They got a big surprise. So be tuning in on Thursday. It's usually in the 11 or noon hour. We're at the stadium. We're talking to the coaches. We're talking to the players. And we're in the mix, and we're all in it together. So I appreciate everyone for pulling up. A couple comments to end on. B-Bake, is Andrew Beck the best Texas Longhorn of all time? No, he's not. But I heard or I saw a couple of stats. I guess he's the heaviest player to have a kick return of 50 yards or more, kick return touchdown. At 255 pounds. Also, I guess the first fullback since the dude in Jacksonville. I love Andrew Beck. I've been high on Andrew Beck. It's kind of misleading to call him a fullback. He's more of a tight end. That's what he was at Texas, although he did line up at fullback too. But I think when you think fullback, you know, you think like big ass Vontae Leach, neck roll type. He plays tight end too. So he's got a little bit more juice, a little bit more speed than what you typically think of as a fullback. Jets TGTX says, nah, Schultz is fine until defenses start covering the receiver, and he will be CJ's safety blanket. Yeah, it's early. We'll see what's up. People are being really, really mean to old Dalton Schultz. He ended up getting kicked out for good. He says he's got more sources. I don't even know what you're talking about, brother. First of all, I doubt that. Second of all, good for you, Holmes. And get a real name if you're going to come on here talking about you. You ain't even got a real name, sir. Russell Thompson, sources for what? He's not breaking news. Yeah, I don't know what that weirdo is talking about. I would be anonymous too if I were that weird. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. It has been another edition of the Locker Room. This is the recap. Do it after every Monday night football game. And remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Tomorrow, on to Pittsburgh. Be on the lookout for more content. Big surprise on Thursday. John McClain tomorrow at 11. It's getting fun. It's nice to talk about Dubs.
Is what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localized every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number one. You don't need to try your luck.